Okay, this is period 5, Kite Runner blog, commentary. So, what do you guys think of the book?
I really
liked it.
I
I
really
liked
liked
it.
it.
Me
I thought
too.
it was really intense, but I really liked it. It kept me like intrigued the whole time.
Yeah.
I like how the author was able to develop the characters and engage the reader.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how he could change your opinion of the characters so fast.
Yeah.
Like at first, a lot of people hated Amir, and then by the end of it, you kind of were on his side.
Yeah.
Especially after he didn't help Hassan in the rape scene. At
His
first he
son?
didn't like him, but then
Hassan.
Oh, sorry.
it's okay. And then later on, he just becomes a successful person, married and stuff, and then you kind of put that scene in the back of your mind because it feels like it was a really long time ago. But,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I feel like he made up for it at the end. Mr. Rob.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was a cool scene.
that was a plot twist
Yeah.
for sure.
That really engaged me personally. Like before it kind of started to run a little dry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good story, but it
Yeah,
dulled a little. But then
in
that
the
really,
middle, yeah. I think the beginning was really, really strong, and in the middle, I kind of got a little
With the move to America,
yeah.
and then things started to steady out a little
Yeah.
bit.
yeah, I thought. I mean, you wouldn't imagine it as like even by the title, the Kite Runner doesn't sound like it'd be an action escape from Taliban.
Yeah,
And the fact that the symbol of the kite appeared at the end was kind of cool as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it was in the beginning, it was never in the middle.
Okay. So we have questions. Let's ask some questions. I have one. It is: if Hassan wasn't a Hazara and was instead a family friend, do you think Amir would have reacted the way he did to the rape?
I think so. I think he would have because he in general was scared. I don't think it had to do with who it was. I think he was in general scared that the boys would attack him. So I don't think, especially if it wasn't someone he knew, then I think he just wouldn't have done anything and then wouldn't have felt bad about it or as bad. The reason. I don't know.
I think it had more to do with the fact that he was threatened by Hassan's relationship with Baba, and I think it had more to do with Amir's own insecurities and just where he stood. So I think that was a good.
Yeah, I feel like even the fact that Hassan was the servant's son was also kind of
A reason.
yeah.
Personally, I could see it both ways, but for the sake of the story, I would imagine that was put in the way it was because because Baba kept saying how Amir couldn't stand up for himself, and that was a big part of part 1, and he made that happen. He didn't stand up for himself, but it showed growth by the end of it.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
Yeah.
Way better than I was trying.
Much better than Ashley.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
The
hip.
Oh, yeah.
You want to ask the pomegranate tree?
Yeah. At the beginning of the book, it showed Hassan and Amir playing at this pomegranate tree, and they inscribed their names on it. And then at the end of the book, Rahim Khan gives Amir a letter from Hassan from 6 months prior, where Hassan says that the tree hasn't borne fruit in years. What do you guys think that means? Do you think that symbolizes their friendship and the progress of their friendship?
It's just
I think it's interesting how the pomegranate tree played such a role in their lives. At first, they carved their names into it, Sultans of Kabul, they were gonna rule over it.
Was it pomegranates that Amir threw?
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
How that was the next part. That was kind of that
The
conflict that
progression,
broke, and then you got to the letter, and it said that by that point, and they weren't speaking at all, and fruits weren't, being produced. Personally, I say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It's
For the same reasons. The Hitler one.
Yeah.
You want me to ask or you want Okay. Another question I was thinking about was Asef gave Amir a biography of Hitler for his birthday, and I thought that was telling. But would you have expected that was such an obvious indicator of what was to come with his involvement with the Taliban?
Um, I didn't actually. Like, I knew like he was like obviously disturbed and a sick guy, but I thought he was just like gonna be like a character in the childhood part of the story. I really didn't expect it.
I didn't think that his whole Hitler ideology would become that extreme.
Yeah, like me neither. I didn't think at first that it would either, but like now that it's happened, like I definitely see that the author like planted it in our heads, like it could have been a possibility.
I mean, to me, like the fact that he praised Hitler the way he did at the beginning. You maybe want to move that so your head's in it. Now her head's not in it.
Okay.
Just reach in a little. The way that he was like praising it so much when he gave it to him. First of all, you can tell he's like a masochist.
Mhm.
He loves. I mean, with the rape, that was all out of pain, and the same way with Hitler and whatever. But I didn't know how big of a part he'd be in the second half of the story. But I figured because he was the one that raped Hassan and that guilt kept with him, that I didn't think it was just. I mean, it was specifically Asef who kept showing up in the first part, so I thought he would play some importance.
I didn't think he was going to show up in the second part, but I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, like especially like how he did the exact same thing to, not the exact same thing, but like he sexually abused Hassan's son, so it's sort of like full circle.
Yeah, that was bizarre the way
That was
he.
really bizarre.
But he made him like a dancer too. Did
Yeah.
you pick up on that?
Yeah.
I don't know
To
what
like
that
humiliate
meant.
him.
Maybe that was like
put
some.
makeup on him or something.
Maybe that was
Like,
some like
It was
extension
like
of
a
how
game
bad
for him.
and how bad he wanted to kill, like ruin
Yeah.
Hassan.
it was
Really.
It was just
messed up.
really, really, really strange. I don't know. I feel like most kids' urges like are to like beat up another kid, not to like rape them. But I don't know.
No, yeah, he's
familiar with it.
definitely something's wrong with him.
Okay. Anyone have another discussion question?
Did you guys actually like ever like get a feeling that there was something more like I personally thought that Baba was somehow connected to Hassan. Were you guys surprised when
Oh, I was
it was
really
revealed that he was actually his dad?
I was really surprised. Like I thought, like all this, I thought it was really cool how like throughout the entire novel they were talking about like, oh, they just have this like natural brotherhood, like, and then it became, then we like got to know that like it was a real brotherhood,
Yeah.
like they actually were brothers. Like I thought that was really really cool. I didn't see it coming like at all.
I questioned it, but I never thought that it was gonna happen.
I thought what was so strange that I didn't really think. I thought that whole scene in the garden where he's like, "Oh, would you ever think about getting new servants?"
Yeah.
And he flipped out. So I thought that was because they were Ali and Baba were so close as kids. But I thought it was strange that Ali had so much power over like taking Hassan. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna leave." Like if he
Right.
was really his son, like why does he have that control? I feel like there should have been some sort of
Yeah.
binding to it.
Maybe like Baba doesn't know that Ali knows because they had an affair, right? It wasn't like.
I don't know how that
Like,
works.
was it like a compromise because Ali couldn't have children, or was it an affair between?
That's a good
You
question.
know?
But either or, he would preach about like not breaking the commandment of theft
Mhm.
He
when
stole
Baba
pretty much.
pretty much stole Ali's wife.
It's true.
Sort of like hypocritical.
I was just like a little bit at first when they first introduced the idea, like didn't know what they were talking about because they didn't like allude to it directly. But then, in the next few pages, like it cleared it up. So I was kind of, but it still didn't. It definitely still didn't clear that up though. Like I don't know why it happened.
Anything else before we wrap this up?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Discussion January the 11th complete.
Yeah.